morning children, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. So today students will be starting with your next poem, poem 4, that is A Thing of Beauty is Joy Forever by John Keats. Okay, now before starting let me tell you something about the poet and this poetry. So this poem basically students is about the moon goddess Cynthia, who was chased by Endymion, who was a shepherd. Okay, so Cynthia was so beautiful that the poet composed around 4,000 lines for her, and this very poetry is a kind of excerpt from that very thing. Okay, now John Keats students is a romantic poetry. He does not comment upon social or political issues, and he feels that probably nature, beauty, romance is a kind of escape from the realities. Okay, now in this very poem, as you can see the title, A Thing of Beauty is a Joy Forever, is a kind of meaning that he is trying to convey is that beautiful things are something that gives human being joy forever. Okay, and takes away all the gloom, all the darkness from their lives. Okay, so here we have lot of things of beauty that he has talked about. One is nature, one he is talking about the flowery band, then he is talking about the sun, moon, rivers. Okay, and also legendary sagas and stories which are sort of immortal and which inspire us to do great things are also the things of beauty. Okay, so here the idea of joy and longevity has been taken, and how it attracts human beings so much, and this is one reason that he has written this poetry. Now let us understand this poetry line by line. So in this poem he says, first line he says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever, its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Okay, so he starts to compare a thing of beauty. First of all, he talks about the very idea that a thing of beauty, just like the goddess Cynthia, is a joy forever, or any beautiful thing is something that gives us joy for the lifetime. Okay, it has this quality of permanence. Okay, its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. So as days pass, it is not that a thing of beauty, a thing of true beauty will perish or will cease to exist or will end, but with every passing day its loveliness will increase. Okay, and it will never turn into nothing, or it will never zero down. Okay, a bower quiet for us and sleep full of sweet dreams, a health and quiet breathing. A bower is a kind of shady area, shady tree where we can sleep at peace and where we can breathe peacefully. Okay, so he says just like a shady tree wherein we can sleep and breathe in peace, similar is the thing of beauty which gives us joy, peace, longevity. Okay, then he says it is full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Okay, so that very sweet sleep which is full of sweet dreams, which is peaceful, that is quiet, and is also wherein one person can lie down and can breathe quietly. Okay, so here a bower quiet for us is a kind of metaphor used, and it is an indirect comparison between a thing of beauty and a shady tree. Okay, shady in the sense a tree that gives shade. Okay, now let us say see what the next paragraph has to offer. Therefore on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to this earth, spite of despondence, of human dearth, of noble natures, of gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. Okay, so he says there is something that binds us all, that is, there is something that binds all of us, all the human beings. Okay, so he says this is flowery, it's a kind of a thing of beauty, it's like a flowery band, again a beautiful band of flowers. Okay, and he says in spite of despondence is despair, depression, in spite of human beings who take on to evil ways. Okay, in spite of inhuman dearth of noble natures means all the human beings who think evil. Okay, he says, of gloomy days, and all those days which are gloomy, which are sad. Okay, a thing of beauty brings eternal peace, eternal joy, and it is like a flowery band that binds us all together. Okay, of unhealthy and over darkened days. Okay, so all those days which are darkened by our evil deeds, or by some kind of despair or depression, and all those days which are unhealthy, but if you see a thing of beauty, it will give one person a kind of joy. Okay, made for our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves us away the pall from our dark spirits. So he says that some form of beauty, that is, if we see a beautiful object, or if we see something beautiful in nature or in human beings, or we listen to a beautiful tale or a saga, it will take away all that is dark in our life. Okay, all that is gloomy in our lives, or say if our spirits are darkened by this sadness. Okay, so a pall means a curtain. So suppose if our spirits are darkened by the curtain of sadness or despair or depression, but a thing of beauty has a quality to extend joy, peace, and brings in life to normal, to otherwise mundane or otherwise depressed days or otherwise darkened days. Okay, then it says, such the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, are such our daffodils with green world they live in, and clear rills. Okay, then he starts to give examples of the things of beauty. See, he says, say for example, sun. Whenever we see sun, we turn enthusiastic. Similar is the moon. Okay, trees, old and young. Whenever we see a tree, there's a kind of positivity we feel seeing them. Okay, sprouting shady boon. Shady boon is again a kind of shade that all the trees create. It feels like a boon, like a blessing. Okay, for simple sheep is here the metaphor is used is for common human beings like us. Okay, so a simple common human beings find peace, joy and bliss in all these things of beauty. And such are daffodils. Again he starts to give example. Daffodils are flowers, okay, with green world they live in. Okay, so wherein daffodils live, like it could be a jungle, a forest, and clear rills, and the clear streams flowing through them, that is through forest. These all are the things of beauty that gives happiness, that gives joy to common sheep, to common human beings, that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season the mid forest break. Okay, so he says these very things of beauty, they make a kind of cooling space. Okay, it could be grassland, it could be some space in forest, and against the hot season as discussed earlier, could be the gloomy days, could be the days that causes irritation and takes us to doom and despair. And he says the mid forest break. Okay, so similarly the grassland between the trees in the forest, rich with sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Okay, again he makes use of imagery, and he says, and the roses that bloom there in the empty space, they give us some kind of perennial joy, permanent joy. Okay, so this is what he talks about. Then it says, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring us onto us from the heavens brink. Okay, so in the last line he says, and such too is the grandeur of dooms. Grandeur means is the greatness of dooms, the tales that talks about you may say just like the tales of freedom fighters, or the tales that which are legendary. Okay, they talk about dooms are also according to him the thing of beauty. The sagas they talk about the greatness of humankind are also the thing of beauty according to the poet. Okay, we have imagined for the mighty dead. Okay, mighty dead means all those who sacrificed their lives for the sake of their motherland, their land, or for any great deed, are also a thing of beauty because they inspire us to live greatly. Okay, all lovely tales that we have heard or read. Similarly, he says all the sagas, as I told you, or all the tales that talk about the grandeur, the greatness of human deeds, are equally beautiful. Okay, and they too inspire us, gives us joy forever. an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So he says that now we have the sagas, things of beauty are the kind of thing that God has bestowed us, and it is a kind of waterfall that God has bestowed us, and it is constantly pouring upon us. It is immortal in nature, beauty lives forever, it is immortal, it never ceases to exist, and we should just be able to drink it, to grasp it and become beautiful, pouring onto us from the heavens brink. And he says it is constantly pouring upon us from heaven. Okay, so this is where he ends the poetry. Okay.